So I just wanted to ask you that in your experience, how does the equipment affects the success of IVF throughout?
Well, the equipment is absolutely critical to the success of IVF. And this is because we need to be able to control everything. And so you need high quality and reliable equipment so that you can control every single metric, the temperature, the gases, the vibrations. So absolutely everything matters. So if you start with poor quality equipment, it's not a good place to start. It's not fair for the patients. It's not fair for the scientists working with it. We need to have a baseline quality which is really high for equipment, and I can see in this lab you have absolutely got that. It's really nice to see the quality of the equipment, and more than that, the quality of the monitoring system, and the fact that you automatically monitor all this high quality equipment, but you're also manually checking that the continuous monitoring system is correct and that your equipment is functioning properly. So I think you really got that set up very well indeed.
Yes, thank you so much. So even in Ziltrix, what we use, we do check it every morning and evening after coming to lab, and then before leaving, to make sure that the system, because at night it might variate. So we do check the graph of every equipment that during night it is stable or it has gone up and down, so we know. So in top tier IVF clinics, what specific protocol or processes makes the difference in the success of IVF according to your experience?
That is a big question. So in the laboratory, it's fundamental that the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, are really well validated, and that the team using them are really well trained, and that we've assessed the competency of all of those scientists working with those SOPs. So I could never choose one SOP or rank the importance of them, because they all are so critical. And I think sometimes people forget the importance of the dish preparation. And so often I see that in an IVF laboratory, the most junior scientist might be making the dishes, where the embryos, the eggs and the sperm and the embryos are going to spend the whole of the following week growing, developing. So that's a very important starting point. The culture dish is prepared immaculately. And so I don't think you can underestimate the importance of any one SOP. And as long as we start from the very beginning with the perfect dish preparation using high quality dishes and culture media, and then from there on, everything else follows the same high standards and high levels of competency. I think that's the secret to success in a high-tier IVF laboratory.
That's actually very well said. Even day -1 from the procedure is very important.
Yes.
On how you keep media and everything, because that depends on rest of the days, because again, the gametes and the embryos are going to be cultured in that.
Exactly. And the other thing that I think sometimes embryologists might not be aware of, or they're not trained to understand just how sensitive the oocytes, the eggs are, because they are so fragile at the beginning. And if something is not optimized from the beginning of the IVF treatment cycle, then it'll have its detrimental effect downstream, and it will say that in embryo quality.
That's right.
So every single day matters, every single oocyte matters. And so it's a very tough job, and it takes a very special kind of scientist, I think, to be an embryologist. And I can see that your team are very dedicated and passionate about the cause.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what's your take on real-time monitoring and data logging on the outcomes of the IVF lab?
Well, I say it's very, very important to continuously monitor your equipment and the environment of the laboratory. And we know that every single element can impact success rates for our patients. So if we have a really robust monitoring system, as scientists working in the laboratory, we can relax and focus on the science, on mixing the eggs and sperm, performing the ICSI, caring for the embryos, because we know everything is being monitored, and so we don't need to worry about that. Okay. And we can only feel that way if we have a high quality monitoring system. And if we're checking it also manually, regularly, as you've told me that you do. So I think that that is a really great foundation for a highly successful IVF lab.
Oh. So as you are leading the 19 clinics across the globe, what is your experience that the team culture plays in the success and enhancement of IVF lab?
Well, it's not very scientific, but I always say that a happy lab team will make good quality embryos. And I believe that. I've been an embryologist for around 30 years. So I've worked in a lot of teams. I've led a lot of teams. And I really believe that is the case. So I think the culture is so important. And that's a supportive culture. So the team are working in very close proximity with very precious cells. Yeah. And so if the culture is just right and there's positivity and there's flexibility and there's mutual support amongst the team members, that can only be a positive thing, I think, for our patients, because I feel it makes better embryos, actually. Yeah, and it is a little bit strange and it's not scientific, but it's my experience. And so as I lead a number of teams around the world, I try and maintain that culture, cultivate a collaboration and support and continuous development of the scientists, because there's always something to learn.
Yeah, true.
And we can learn from each other. And I think that's the beauty as well of working within a network of clinics, multiple sites, and people join from different countries, different labs, and we must never assume that we know everything. We need to learn from them, because they will bring something, even if it's something small, from their own experience. And so I think we need to try and build that collaborative culture as well, so that we can learn all of the time, keep going to conferences. I've just attended the 39 conference and I've learned things, and that's an amazing thing, to share knowledge. So all of those measures, I think, can help with the success for our patients.
So you have been to India, right? So I just wanted to ask you that what do you think where India stands when it comes to AI and data-driven treatment in IVF clinics?
At the moment, I have visited India a few times, and I feel like there's a great interest in AI, so artificial intelligence, and the potential of it to continuously improve fertility treatment. I don't see a huge amount being utilized yet, but I think that's the same across the world. It's quite a new field in terms of AI joining with fertility. So I think what we're going to see over the next few years is more and more progress in that area. And I think that because India is growing very rapidly in terms of the fertility sector, I think there's an opportunity for data to be gathered, and for that data, providing it's high quality, which I'm sure it will be, then that data can drive innovation and the use of artificial intelligence to analyze it in such great detail that we can't really do ourselves very easily, especially if we have image data as well. So I think it's a very exciting time, and we should see some big leaps forward over the next few years.
Yeah, excited for AI to come in.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. So you have developed an award-winning AI tool. So I just wanted to know that what inspired you to do that, and how do you see that it shapes the future of IVF?
That's a big question. Yes, we started at Care Fertility with time-lapse imaging of embryos many years ago, maybe 2011, so quite a lot of years ago. And I think we realized straight away that if we annotated these embryos really rigorously with great attention to detail, then we would very quickly accumulate data, and that data would inform our decision making. So if you can imagine, all around the world, we're choosing embryos, blastocysts, based largely on their morphology, so how they look down the microscope. So with time-lapse, we've got so many timestamps and images of the developing embryos. So when we transfer, in good faith, the most beautiful looking embryos, we can then reflect and say, okay, these implanted and made a baby, and these ones didn't. Yeah. So is there something different between their morphokinetic profiles, their developmental patterns, is there something different between these two groups of embryos? Because they all looked very similar. And what we found was that there was significant differences between, quite subtle, but significant, between the developmental patterns. So then we started to build algorithms, models, to help us choose those embryos.
Okay.
And so we had the time-lapse data that could inform that. And the next step was, well, could artificial intelligence help us with this? Because we've accumulated a lot of data and we've developed our own live birth prediction models.
Yeah.
So we worked with a third party to take all of this data, which equated to 500 million images, because we're taking images through the vocal planes, 500 million images of embryos, and we labeled them all. Have they made a baby? Have they not made a baby? And so the AI system then was trained to analyze these time-lapse series.
Okay.
So what was taking us maybe 20 minutes for every patient now takes 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So it saved a lot of time, and it's a great feeling because I know that across our laboratories, every embryo will be analyzed in the same way because the AI system is highly accurate and highly reproducible. Unlike us as humans, where we can be subjective, we know we're biased, we can. So it's been a great exercise, and there's much more to come, I think. But it's a good in-house developed tool that we can build upon. So it's exciting.
It's always an addition to what you're doing now. Like, it's always +1 to have AI, I feel.
Yes, it is. AI, providing the AI has been built on really high quality data. Large, high quality data is what we need. So that's what needs to be accumulated in order to develop the tools to then facilitate your practice and bring in those benefits like accuracy, time saving, reproducibility, objectivity.
Yeah. So looking forward, what advancement in the embryology excites you the most, and how can a IVF lab can be prepared for that?
Well, I get excited about any advancement, to be honest. Very recently, I've been excited by the changes in vitrification practice, accelerating the warming rates, and that's been amazing. I'm always excited about innovation and the use of artificial intelligence. So that's probably the number one for me, is to keep looking at the data and trying to just guide our practice to get more and more precise. So I guess it is likely to be marginal gains, but every gain matters, and we want the very best for our patients. So I think I'm most excited about using AI in various ways across the whole clinic and not just in the laboratory.
So AI-driven embryology lab is the idea.
Oh, I'd like to see that, and I don't think we should be fearful of it. I think in order to prepare ourselves, we just need to open our minds. And we mustn't forget that we all want the same thing. We want the patients to have their baby. And so whatever it takes to get there, we need to embrace it. And we can help with that cause by recording the data, the images, the metrics very precisely, so that we can build the data sets that we can rely on in the future.